Honestly, I haven't tried to make air fryer shrimp before, but it seems like a pretty simple concept for the most part, so we're gonna see how this works out. I use frozen shrimp for this because it's way easier. I mean, it says right on here, right? Tail on, peeled, and clean. Totally worth it for the few bucks extra it is compared to getting fresh shrimp. I think it tastes just as good as fresh most of the time, honestly. I've used this brand before. I think the other one had a blue label, so I don't know what the difference is, to be completely honest, but this is the one I'm using. But whatever frozen shrimp you get, might be a little pricey, but if you spend a little bit more money on seafood, you're gonna get a much better quality than the cheap stuff. Now, I thought out overnight about about a bowl's worth. I don't know, there's probably like 8 in here or so. And I'm gonna show you the beauty of getting it frozen and deveined. So deveined means you don't have to worry about this vein that runs the whole backside of the shrimp yourself. It's not impossible to do yourself. It's not even that hard, but it's very time consuming. It's just a pain in the ass, to be completely honest. You gotta dig like either a really sharp knife in or a little fork to peel it out. It's just a pain in the ass, so save yourself the trouble. And even if you get it fresh, you can get it deveined by your local fishmonger, right? So this is what we're using. Keep the tail on, it's gonna add a little more flavor to it. My buddy Joe and his wife watched the cooking vlog. They suggested a little background music for the vlog, so thanks to them, during the food prep montage, you're gonna get a little lo-fi funky music. And by the way, shout out Joe, he's a super good dude. He's the older brother of one of my really good buddies in the Coast Guard that I served with. And when we were sailing to Hawaii, Oahu, he was stationed over there already. He was basically working aviation, so the big C-130s. Cool dude, he hooked up me and like 4 of the other guys, I think. Maybe if I can find a picture, I'll cue the picture up somewhere over here so you guys can see. But basically we went on this big C-130, which is a giant, I guess, cargo plane for the Coast Guard. But we got to sit in the back and like strap up, have the back hatch open, which was so cool. We got to fly around the whole island. We got to even fly over Maui. And the Coast Guard pilots were in our ears the whole time, like telling us, you know, what bars and restaurants were around and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a souped up version of Google Maps on super steroids. And the pilots, they kept making fun of us too, because we're all super hungover as a port call in Hawaii, right? We're getting a little like nauseous up there in the air because it's super shaky, the cargo plane. I didn't expect, and it's really hot and stuffy up there. So of course they give us shit, rightfully so. But anyway, shout out Joe, and I'll cue up the music. For the garlic, I want it nice, big, chunky because we're heating this up at super high heat, so we don't want it to burn as much as if we were to finely mince it or grate the garlic. So as you see, we combine pretty much everything in here. We're gonna add a little salt and pepper to the mixture as well. We're gonna mix it all up, and then we're just gonna coat all of our shrimp in this beautiful mixture after it sits for like maybe a minute or two just to absorb everything a little nicer. It's a delicious mixture that goes with pretty much everything. We're gonna pop our top off our shrimp, and we're simply gonna add this whole mixture to the bowl. We're gonna toss it all up nicely in here. We've got this beautiful mixed shrimp marinade. We're gonna let it sit for just a minute or two so the lemon juice doesn't cook it too much. And then we're gonna simply set it in the air fryer, and I think it'll take like 5 minutes or so. Like I said, I haven't actually done this before, but I've read online and watched some videos. I've got this fancy 10-in-1 Ninja air fryer, and I call it an air fryer, but it does all sorts of stuff. I got it as a wedding gift. But the key thing here, this little air fryer basket, gotta spray it with some oil because otherwise the protein might stick to it a bit. And air frying some other stuff, I've just figured out that this just helps in general, honestly. Now all we're gonna do is just dump in the shrimp. We're gonna make sure it's spread out even enough. I think this should be a perfect amount to fill it up. Basically, you don't wanna cover everything up because the way the air fryer works is you want it to hit all the parts of it because it's frying it, right? So now we're just gonna close the cover to it. Then we find the proper settings. Obviously we want to air crisp. We're gonna do it at 400 degrees. I think that should do it pretty good. And then I'm gonna do 5 minutes. That's what I've read online, and that makes sense to me overall. And I'll show you in 5 minutes how it looks. Sit if you're excited for shrimp, Tito. I got an idea how to separate out the real OG Hellmann's Kitchen enthusiast. We're gonna wait through this timer. If you're at the end of this timer, I love you. Okay, now, let's see. So, it doesn't look quite done yet. I think, let's see, let's look at the bottom. I think I'm gonna flip them and do them another like 2 minutes or so. All right, I'm gonna try 2 more minutes. Oh, I gotta adjust the temperature back to 400. All right, I'm getting impatient waiting for 2 minutes to be up, so I'm gonna check it right now. Ooh, okay. That looks much better, actually. So total cook time at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And see the pinkish hue across the shrimp and the tail? That means it's cooked, so we're good to go. And yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so I like the air crisp method for the shrimp. This is my first time doing it. I'm gonna try it and see if it tastes good too. We gotta do the taste test too, though, obviously. It's really good. Coolest part is how simple this recipe is. It took me, I don't know, like 10 minutes or so, I guess. Really tasty.